Hello, I'm Elena Cecchini and welcome to the Voxwomen cycling show.
Coming up in the show today, we catch up with rounds 2 and 3 of the Women's Elite Track Championship at Revolution. Amalie Diderikson tells us how the Worlds were won. We have top tips from Olympic gold medalist Katie Archibald. But first, we chat to Italian national road champion Elena Cecchini.
So cycling was a family sport. I started when I was 6. That in Italy is the minimum age when you can start. And my dad did cycling, my brother, then was my turn. And now in the family I'm the only one who keeps going, but now it's part of my life. Women's cycling in Italy is not really common. So the girls prefer to do volleyball or just dancing. I was quite alone. But I had a lot of guys that were cycling with me in the club team, so it was quite funny. And in Italy, we don't go in the velodrome so early. We just start when we are 11 or 12, so before it's just road racing. Yeah, it was, the team was new. Canyon SRAM is the first year. And so I was really happy to join this team because in the end it's just the transition of Specialized and Velocio SRAM. And of course we are treated like princess. We have everything. We have good equipment, really good stuff. And for me it was a step up, of course. And now I think I really reached one of the most professional teams. So it's just my responsibility to be good. And I signed this year for other 2 years, so I'm feeling really good there. I always did both the disciplines, but in the last 2 years I just decided to skip more on the road because I just found relaxing with the teams is more easy than with the national team for me. So I'm just more relaxed and I can enjoy a bit more road. But when I come in these races, like Revolution is like a sort of party. So for me it's really funny and I really still love racing on the track. And I don't know, looking at the future, I mean, I tried to be good in the last February in Worlds, so I tried to be good in point race. I did a really good preparation, but the race was not super good about result. So it makes me think that maybe it's better if I focus more on the road for these years that are really important for my career, but just having some fun sometimes in the track like now. I think that creating this Revolution series also for the women is really important. Of course, it's really different from Italy because in Italy the importance of cycling is the road cycling. Here is really different. And I can tell you that having a lot of crowd and a lot of people cheering for you, it gives you more, you can do more on the bike, you can give 10% more, and I think it's really funny also for the spectators. I have a fan club at home, so it's always nice to have someone cheering for you. And I'm really happy to be here today because I heard the speaker telling my name many times and it feels you, it makes you important. So yeah, how can I say, it's just I'm having a lot of fun. And now I'm actually off season, so this was the last race of the season. And then I will take 3 to 4 weeks off the bike because it was a really, really long season with Olympics for me and then World Championships, so it was also mentally really tiring. I like to do like 1 week or 10 days of complete rest. I want to wake up in the morning and just see, okay, today I go for a walk with my dog, or just I go swimming, or no, today I do nothing, or I just want to go shopping. I mean, it's really important to recover mentally because your body is of course tiring, but what rules everything is the mind. So in off season you just have to do, and not only do, also eat or sleep or do what you want. And for me, of course, I have some days I want really to stay on the sofa all the day, or some days that I said, oh, today I want to do something. But it's important to do something different from cycling, in my opinion, because for 10 months or more you have your routine, and it's almost every day the same, so you need to do something totally different. But then I'm ready to start again with trainings. We will have a training camp in Mallorca in December, and then we will maybe start in Australia. So also for women's cycling, the races are coming more and more, and also bigger. It's important to rest now to have a good 2017.
Team Voxwomen are back for the second round of the Revolution Women's Championship here in Glasgow. In the first round we triumphed and are leading the way in the team classification. With two new riders on board, Lotte Kopecky and Laurie Berton, plus the return of junior Amber Joseph, the question is, can the team defend the title against a tough field, including Olympic champion Katie Archibald? I'd imagine you had a bit of time off between those amazing times in Rio and now, so how has that been for you, and how has it been getting back on the bike as well?
Yeah, I had a month off, just entirely sort of recreational doing. So this is my 4th week back training, and I'd done the Revolution in Manchester after just one week of being back on a bike. So I've been able to compare, I suppose, the sensation of being really rested versus just being slightly fit, and yeah, I think I prefer being slightly fit.
A home crowd's always good, and a Glasgow crowd. They always have a reputation for being really loud, and yeah, they're living up to it, so it's great. Because I'm still relatively new to endurance, I've just done my first full road season, and now I'm just gearing up for the track, so I kind of had a transition period, but I've not had any time off the bike. Hopefully it doesn't catch up with me.
The first event in round 2 of the Women's Championship was the elimination race. The final 3 places were fiercely contested. Nia Evans was eliminated, leaving Archibald and Berton to battle it out for first place. And the Olympic gold medalist showed she was back in fighting form to take the win for podium ambition. Nia Evans consolidated podium ambition's lead with her strong ride in the flying lap. In the points race, Evans suffered a mechanical, but was soon back in contention alongside teammate Archibald. Podium ambition had 2 riders in the final sprint group, along with Lotte Kopecky for Voxwomen and Emily Nelson riding for Team Breeze. And Nelson's victory on the line took her narrowly ahead of Archibald to win the points race overall. The scratch race saw podium ambition strengthen their lead again. Evans took first place, with Voxwomen's Kopecky in second and Nelson in third. The final event of the night was the elimination scratch race, which formed a race of 2 parts. The field was thinned out, with Henrietta Colburn last to be eliminated, narrowing down to the final 10 competing in a scratch race. All the big teams were represented, with 4 laps of scratch racing to go, including Team Breeze, Team GB, Voxwomen and Podium Ambition. Verena Eberhardt of Team Futon Velo Sport was the first to test the peloton, but her move did not last long. At the front of the peloton, everyone was watching each other, with Voxwomen's Kopecky putting herself in a good position. Jenny Hole of Team Jaden Welltight had been hanging back, keeping an eye on the bunch, and she made the most of the banking, diving down to attack with 2 laps to go. But the chase was on, with Ellie Dickinson and Abby Dentis of Team GB hot on her wheel. They reeled her in on the bell lap and swept past her to sprint for the line. Dickinson led out the sprint with Dentis on her wheel, and Voxwomen's Kopecky not far behind either. Coming round the final bend, it was Dentis who proved the more powerful of the Team GB duo, snatching victory on the line. The dominant performance of Podium Ambition took them into the lead in the Elite Championship, with Voxwomen in second place and Great Britain moving into third.
Hi, I'm Abby Dentis. Don't go anywhere, we'll be back after the break. Welcome back at the Voxwomen Cycling Show.
Hi Voxwomen, it's Amalie Diderikson. I'm riding for Stallman cycling team, and I got asked if I could do a short video and explain you about my win in Qatar and my new title as world champion. Still hasn't quite sunk in yet. I think it's a really big win for me, and I'm really happy. Coming into Qatar, I hope for a top 10. I didn't really know how my body would react with the heat, but I felt like my preparation had went really well. Trained pretty good since the Olympics and tried to keep focus. Denmark could only participate with 3 girls, so our team wasn't so big. But I think we had a good team, and our tactics were decided beforehand. I was the team captain, and Cecilia and Julie should help me as best they could during the race, which I think they did really well. I only took a bottle from the feeding zone once, but otherwise I got food and drinks from them the entire race. And when I crashed with around 45k to go, they stayed with me and helped me get back to the peloton. In the end, I had to do the sprint by myself. They put me in the right position, and then it was up to me to keep it. I fought pretty hard for Kirsten Will's wheel, because I thought that would be the best position to be in. And luckily I could keep that position, and with around 150 meters or less, I tried to get around her. Crossed the finish line first with, I don't know, a length of half a wheel. It was quite surprising for me that I could, become the new world champion, and I'm really happy for it. I can't wait to wear the stripes next season, and hopefully I will make everybody proud and do well in the stripes.
My name's Katie Archibald. I'm Olympic champion and world record holder in the women's team pursuit. And here are my 5 top tips for returning to training after a winter break. Number 1, pick sessions you enjoy because people excel at what they have fun doing. Number 2, eat well. It's going to be a shock to your immune system and you need to stay healthy. Number 3, go out on group rides to motivate yourself because there's nothing that makes you dig deeper than chasing somebody's coattails. Number 4, set some goals because that's what's going to motivate you when the grind gets tough. Number 5, pain doesn't always mean gain, so be careful you don't overtrain. I didn't even realize that rhymed. Oh man, that's a good one, that's my favorite.
Round 3 of Revolution took place in Manchester, where the elite women's teams were back to compete in the brand new track championship in front of a full house. Dominant podium ambition were ready to defend their lead against the new Voxwomen team, featuring Elena Cecchini, Jess Roberts and Amber Joseph. This round featured 2 elimination races, with 13 riders contesting the first one. Olympic champion Archibald was a notable absentee, as she was busy winning silver at the European Championships. Joseph was the first rider to be knocked out, but her 2 teammates were present right up to the final 4, joined by Nia Evans and Jenny Hull. Former member of the Revolution Future Star programme and Team Voxwomen's Roberts was the first of the 4 to be eliminated, leaving Hull of Team Jaden Weltite in blue, Cecchini of Voxwomen in red and grey, and Evans of Podium Ambition in purple and pink. The trio spent the next lap battling for position, with Evans and Hull leading out Cecchini. Hull went early to test Cecchini and Evans with the Podium Ambition rider on her shoulder. But in the home straight, Cecchini and Evans proved too strong, overpowering Hull as she was the next rider to go. Then it was a game of cat and mouse, with both riders high on the banking. Cecchini was happy to take second wheel and let Evans do the majority of the work. The Scottish rider made her move as the riders heard the bell, diving down the track. Around the final bend and into the home straight, Cecchini launched her sprint, but Evans had just enough to hold the Italian at bay and take another brilliant victory.
Yeah, it was a smaller field than sometimes, so you got to sprint laps quite a lot quicker than normal. I was kind of aware that I was doing a bit more at the front than I ideally wanted to, so it ended up being quite tactical towards the end, but I just had enough in my legs to get it for the sprint.
In the second of the elimination races, Evans and Cecchini were once again left to go head-to-head in the final 2. But Evans, letting Cecchini do the work, showed she is still in fantastic form, pulling ahead to take another win. That victory made it 2 from 2 in the elimination races, proving Evans truly is the rider to beat. She consolidated Podium Ambition's lead once again with her first place and fast pace in the flying lap, with a blistering time of 14.8 seconds. Diderikson finished second and Voxwomen's Joseph finished third. In the points race, Diderikson took the final sprint, but couldn't outdo Evans, who won once again with a convincing lead of 6 points. "13 riders started the 15-kilometre scratch race with 60 laps ahead of them. With 7 laps to go, Team GB's Amalie Diderikson was out in front on her own. But her move was swiftly neutralised by the chasing riders, including the big teams of Podium Ambition and Team Breeze. Melissa Lowther of Team Breeze was next to attack with 6 laps remaining. But the peloton refused to let any rider get too far away, drawing Lowther back in before Cecchini chanced her luck, taking the bunch by surprise, launching her own counter-attack. Voxwomen's resident Italian Cecchini really made her mark on the race as she transitioned from a summer of racing on the road with Canyon SRAM back to the raw power and speed of the track. Cecchini took a few urgent looks over her shoulder as the legs began to tire and the lungs started to burn, and she could feel the weight of the peloton behind her. Still, with 3 laps to go, Cecchini had built up a sizable advantage, but Evans wasn't going to let the race go, and she began to organise the chase, leading from the front. And as the riders approached the line and heard the bell, Cecchini's time was up. Evans swept past her, with Dickinson sprinting on her shoulder. Dickinson got a head start on Evans, who had been on the front for much of the chase, and the Team GB rider continued to pull away, powering to the line for an emphatic victory. Podium Ambition took to the stage as the championship leaders on the night, thanks to the incredible performance of Evans. And at the halfway point in the championship, they also cemented their lead in the league, ahead of Voxwomen in 2nd place and Great Britain in 3rd. That's it for this month. Join us next time when we'll bring you the action from South Africa for the Telkom 947 Cycle Challenge, which is now in its 2nd year as a UCI 1.1 elite race, as well as much more from the world of women's cycling.